record. What?
Oh, there it is.
Hey, we're short of Rick tonight. He's got some family visiting, so it's just Roger and I. Say hello,
so
Roger.
If you got anything to ask or talk about here, fire away. We'll be glad to chat about it. I don't care what it is.
It's a good time to ask laser questions because Rick won't be here to talk about his CNC. and the fact that he probably still hasn't turned it on. Hey Tim, you actually weren't the first Tim. There was the Philip here was online as well. So, but thanks for coming out. So, Tim, did you get your E1 yet? Your what is it? Is it a UV printer? Yes, sorry. I know I think they're starting to ship them. Hey, Alan. What else we got here? We got Kevin.
Driving, so I assume you're listening and not watching.
Well, he could be playing golf.
I hope. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Clayton.
Yeah.
Smash that like button. Oh, Tim's getting his UV printer at the end of August. I hope to do another video on the E1 before then. And Eufy has a new product coming out in the I don't know when, but soonish, which I will talk about when I'm allowed to talk about. Yeah, they're really slow getting them out because I think they sold like 20,000 of them or something. Hey, Jim.
Hey, yep, Chicago, Illinois, right.
Jim happily Jim has conquered engraving glass with a UV laser, I think. Am I right, Jim? Hopefully. It looked good, the one the picture you sent me. So Bosnian truckers here. Oh, listening. Did you get the feeder? No, I still haven't gotten that. I don't know if they're even going to send me one. They might, hopefully, but I'd like to be able to do some 3D printing, some UV printing with long film. Because I have a couple of long projects I'd like to do for that.
Well, there's Paul. Well,
Paul's here, and good morning. 2 a.m. I think it is over there. It's been a while. Yeah, we've missed you, man. I see you're doing new laser paintings again. They're always good to see. This side of the radio. Is this new?
Good evening from Texas.
Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the rainstorms. Hopefully that's all under control now, I assume. Rado from Milwaukee. Hey, we got 2 people from Milwaukee. You guys should get together for a beer. You're in the right town for it. David's there as well. Jim says he got himself off the ceiling. Yeah, focus. I think we all learn this hard lesson, especially with UV lasers, because the error you're allowed on the focus of a UV laser is about that much. If you're too high or too low by a couple of millimeters, you're just not going to do anything. It's a real pain. So this side of the radio is new. Welcome. West Virginia, Dennis, hello. 3 months with nothing being done. Yeah, I know that feeling. Well, I knew July was going to be hell month for me because I had a whole bunch of projects to get done, but I thought August would be great, and everything just piled into August now. So I got a bunch of reviews to do and a few. a few customer projects. I was mentioning to Roger before we started that I have to build a trophy plaque. And it's one of these things where somebody wants something really big, but then says, I'd like my logo embedded in something that's huge, and I want all of the winners to be on brass, and I'd like all of this to happen for less than $100. And it's like, oh, holy cow! The walnut you want and all of the inlay is going to probably cost $100. So, yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but it's a good cause. It's a bunch of people that get together to kind of partner up to celebrate, or well, not celebrate, I guess, but they all have PTSD. They're all ex-vets or current vets, I guess, and they get together and play Dungeons and Dragons and have a big competition. I don't know, 4-person teams there's probably 100 teams, so it's a pretty big deal for these guys. So I'll eat my labor on it. But where is Rick? Rick is hanging out with family tonight, so he will not join us.
Yeah, he's got some relatives in from out yonder somewhere.
So he put us in charge. So the cat's away tonight.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tim. I was trying to keep the context here. So Tim does long signs too. Yeah, I've only seen. I think Bittner had one of those direct to film E1 loaders, and that was the only one I've seen. So I don't know if they're delayed or. Oh, waiting for a Nano Duo. Yeah, they were really slow getting those out. I was talking to the rep from Longer not that long ago, and they said they're finally starting to ship them. So hopefully you get one soon. It's a nice little laser. Yeah. So Tim is commenting on my $100 plaque I have to make. Yeah. I assured him that with brass, with 24 or well, they want the last 10 years. So there's 30. They have first, second, and third place, and they want the last 10 of each of those. And so there's 30 pieces of brass there, plus they want the first, second, and third columns to be brass. So I mean, there's probably $50 worth of brass there at least, and all the engraving to put names on them, and it's I assured him that it was going to cost more than $100. I am not a good man.
And whether or not I am, you have to ask my wife.
Yeah, I was going to say, just ask my wife. She tells me every day I'm not good. I was mentioning to Roger, I have a bunch of CNC projects to do, and a couple of them are projects that my wife asked me to do. One is it's probably like an hour project just to make a little wooden tray for our toaster. And it's been on my list for, I don't know, 6 months probably.
That's what honeydew lists are for.
Yeah. The honeydew list is carved in stone at my place because it hardly ever changes. So Kevin says, any suggestions on how to get fine black graphics on a stainless steel mug with the F1 Ultra? You could try backing the focus off a couple of millimeters, like raise it. So bring it to focus and then raise it up probably 3 millimeters, maybe a little more, and then do your engrave, and you'll see that it gets quite a bit blacker. Start with just a scrap piece of stainless rather than eating up a mug, but a tumbler. Everybody thinks somebody else. I guess Tim must be a good man. Who said I was good? Yeah, it was Tim. Yeah, we all have a honeydew list. Jim asks, do you have samples of the new So this is the new COM marker printer, which won't be announced for another 2.5 weeks. I showed the glass engraving last week. That all came from this new COM marker. Nice printer. They are coming out with their own control software, which seems to control their lasers a whole lot better than Lightburn does. So you can do things like you can change the dwell time. So the dwell time is when the laser goes and it shoots the laser, it kind of hangs around for a while with the laser on. That's what the dwell time is. You can do this in Lightburn, but you have to invoke some G-code commands to make it happen. So it's a bit of a pain. But here you can actually do it, and that allows you to do things like really white coasters. And I showed Jim a very white coaster. And of course, in my video I did this week with the Kittle AI stuff, I showed the same coaster, and Jim said, well, it's not as white as it was when you showed me. I said, yeah, it's a different coaster. but yeah, it has some nice control in it. It's a bit awkward in places, but it definitely controls their lasers better than Lightburn does. This side of the radio says, I've been told the end of the month, but they say, yeah, oh, this is for the Nano. Yeah, I think they are shipping them now. So, I think the whole tariff thing and all the trade deal stuff, I think, screwed up everybody, and I think the dust is starting to settle now. So it's fun times for all of us. I'm sure if you're a company in China and not knowing, given on any given day what your tariffs are going to be, I think it's probably chaotic too. So, but hopefully they get them done. Bosnian trucker. Oh, this is an opinion question. A Nano Duo or an X-Tool F1 Lite? Huh. I don't know how to answer that. The F1 Lite is really small. I mean, the Nano is too, but it's basically open, right? So you can put bigger things in there. You can, I guess, do the same thing with the F1 Ultra Lite. I don't know. It's a tough choice, honestly. I don't think you'd go wrong with either, but at some point, both of them will annoy you, and you'll want something bigger probably. But both are good starter lasers. Dennis asks, have either of you looked at the Tyvok laser machine?
I have not heard of that one.
This is that gigantic 4x8 thing.
Oh.
There's actually another one of these now. The Acmer X1, I think it's called. It's also 4x8 and is a 120 watt laser and a CNC option as well.
I don't even have room for something like that.
Well, yeah, this is the thing, right? Like Acmer asked me if I wanted one of these things to test, and I was like, it looks cool, but I just don't have 4x8 feet of free space on my floor anywhere. So I'd have to put it on a hinge and tilt it up to the ceiling when I'm not using it. But yeah, these things are out there. I don't know, like, I'm not sure what the use case for a gigantic diode laser is.
Well, I suppose if you're making big signs, I mean, my Ray 5, I expanded to 800 millimeter square. I used to make big signs on powder coated aluminum. That's about the only thing I use it for now.
Yeah, this is 8 feet, so this is 200 and, well, no, what is it? 30 millimeters times 8, 240 millimeters, 2400 millimeters long. That's pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to engrave kitchen cupboard doors or house doors, maybe, but it's, when you need one of these, you'll definitely want one, but most of the time I think you'd be cutting something this big on it, right? And it would just be occupying space. It'd be the place where you start storing tools. Jim asks, do you have a sample of your new white slate coaster? I do, but it's not here. It's over in my shop. And I don't think I have a picture of it. Which surprises me because I sent Jim a picture. Oh, I actually do have a picture here. Let me see if I can share this. They've made the screen sharing in StreamYard a little harder than it used to be. So it looks like this. This is exceedingly white. The reason I didn't show this one, Jim, is because in the upper left corner, you can see the rubber foot on the coaster because this is on the back of just a scrap coaster I had. Yeah, this was done. This took, for people who, like Jim, who've cursed the amount of time it takes to engrave something, this took 2 minutes on when I engraved this. It was amazing how fast it was. So if you aspire to engrave very white slate coasters, sometime later this month, I'll have a review of that machine. And I will show a 2-minute fast white coaster. Hey, Stephen. Did you get your problem resolved, Stephen?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that too. He did send me an email about his Z-axis acted up, but I don't have that particular laser, so I'm not familiar with it.
Yeah, it's the autofocus. I think the probably the switch, on the diode laser, the autofocus is just a switch on the bottom of the laser module, and it comes down and touches the material, and then it backs off a certain amount. I think that switch is maybe bad or something, or maybe it's not connected. Maybe there's a break in a wire somewhere. And I don't know, gets into my whole pet peeve about autofocus on diode lasers. I just, the best thing about this laser that Stephen has, it's the, what is it, the IKEA, whatever, the top of the line one that Rick did, is it has a knob for focusing rather than, the little foot that it goes down and it tightens the screw. That's the best thing about the autofocus for diode lasers, is that knob on top. But I found they don't focus properly. They don't give you the right distance. So I just didn't use it. Chat, delete new white slate coaster. I'll need some context on that comment, Jim. Presumably you sent that before I showed the coaster. Hey, Gary from Iowa, of all places.
Yeah, that's next door.
That's your neighbor, Roger.
Yeah, right across the river.
Has it been hot in Illinois lately?
We've had some pretty dense haze.
I saw an article today. The governor of Michigan or Minnesota was complaining they want Canada to do something about the smoke. It's like, what do we put really big fans on the border, maybe, but it's not a whole lot you can do. It's a forest fire.
Yeah, today wasn't too bad, but last weekend the haze was just so dense it looked like fog almost. Yeah,
I was talking to Jim Hamilton too, and he's in Joliet, and he said that the smoke there was bad. The advantage of being on the East Coast is anytime we did actually have a bit of haze, like we had really nice red sunsets and sunrises, but couldn't smell smoke. But it has been brutally dry here, to the point where they basically said you are not allowed anywhere basically off of a paved road with a like a four-wheeler, or you can't walk in forest. You just basically stay away, because it's basically like gasoline right now. It's so dry. Depends on what you use it for. I need context again. I don't know what the context for your comment here is. This side of radio, TSR. Yeah, it's just been crazy dry here. The advantage is my robot mower really doesn't have to go out and cut the grass.
Huh.
And it's been hot, and it's going to be hot.
We've had a lot of rain, so we've been doing a whole lot of grass cutting.
We have had almost no rain nothing in August so far, and almost nothing in July, which is crazy for here because we don't really have a dry season here normally. Hey, Chris.
Down under.
I guess it's good morning to Chris. Where are we here? You can read this one, Roger.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Roger, we'll be talking to someone tomorrow for 300 slate coasters. It'll be my largest order to date. Do I discount large orders like that? We have tentatively agreed on $6 per, and that's great because on large orders I get 5. If you get 6, that's great.
Yeah, you can do your 300, and then when you deliver them, you can knock $50 off or something. You'll feel good. They'll feel good.
Yeah, I can get a repeat order out of that too.
Yeah. Chris is saying, "G'day to everybody." I bet you it's not raining where he is either. Do either of you have any experience with subsurface engraving? As a matter of fact, I have a little now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a UV laser, so I can't comment on that.
Yeah, it's my biggest frustration with subsurface engraving is where the hell do you get the blanks for a reasonable price? I think so. Subsurface lasers are just kind of emerging now. All of us, there was none, and now all of a sudden there's a bunch. Right? There's Commarker, Cloud Ray, Mr. Carve. Who else? Atom Stack, I think, has one now. They're just everywhere. So I have a feeling that the price of glass blanks will start to come down, but it's just hard to find them too. But even on AliExpress, the cheapest I found was, I don't know, I think like $6 US, and then there was some ridiculous like $20 in shipping or something. It was just like, and I thought, well, if I order 10, does the shipping come down? Nope, they just add it on for every one of them. So you buy 10 of these things and you get like a $400 order probably, and it's just not cool. So that's my frustration. But the thing that shocked me about subsurface engraving was it is surprisingly accurate. Like you can get pretty impressive detail in a piece of glass. And like I thought it was going to be kind of gimmicky where, you always see the ad where you see something like the Eiffel Tower. And I actually did the Eiffel Tower for this reason, because you see the ad on Instagram or somewhere, and it'll be this perfect Eiffel Tower in a piece of glass. And you think, yeah, that's got to be Photoshopped to no end. And, when you actually do one, it's going to be this blurry thing in a glass. But when I did it, it was just remarkable how much detail it had in it. So I think it's actually probably more detail than the old commercial subsurface engravers. When you go to the souvenir store, you can buy all the things inside glass. Those were all done with I think those are YAG lasers or something. They're like big commercial lasers. And this is new for people at home. They'd be able to do this in glass. So I'm kind of excited about it. I think it's, it's the next thing that you're going to see 100 of at every craft market, but they do look cool. Why not CNC? That's another new name.
Yeah.
On Omni One, you actually can cut glass with it. Yeah, you can. It's I'm not having any luck with 5-watt. You should be able to cut it with a 5-watt. And Jim already mentioned, I think, the secret here. Focus has to be deadly accurate. Now, if you're cutting a thick piece of glass, you probably want to push the focus below the surface slightly, so that as it gets deeper, it gets more in focus. But it's going to take probably 200 passes. Now, the passes, it's running at 1,000 millimeters a second, so the passes are going to happen pretty quick, but it's going to take a lot of passes. But you can do it. Should be able to do it, we'll say. The other thing you probably want is, don't try this with a 150 millimeter lens. Put the small lens in, the 70 millimeter if you have one, which I think comes with the Omni one, because it'll be a smaller, tighter focus and much more energy in the beam. Oh, so Steven says he has to hit autofocus twice. Well, that sounds like a software problem.
Yeah.
Is this I wonder if this is one of the many issues with Lightburn 2. Stephen, by any chance, did this happen when you upgraded to Lightburn 2.0? There's a lot of, I don't know, people can say if you've run into any issues with Lightburn 2. I've seen a few things.
I haven't run into anything yet, but yeah.
I think most of the problems are around galvo lasers, though. And I think there's some problems with rotaries too, but they might have fixed those with 2.02. But I've seen a few problems that I looked at and went like, what the hell? Like, why is this doing this? To the point where, like, I'd run a job, it would be perfect. Then I'd run the same job again, and there would just be like no power in the laser. And I'd have to restart Lightburn. And then everything was fine again. So I don't know what was going on. It was a bit mind-boggling. Yeah, I don't think if it's working the second time, Stephen, I don't think that your autofocus problem is in the laser. This has to be software.
Yeah, good evening.
Sean at Go Savvy Design. That's a new name.
Yeah. Welcome.
Good evening. Feel free to ask questions. Tell us actually a bit about your setup too. What's your favorite design tool for laser file designing?
Well, for me, it depends what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It could be anything from a simple CAD program to just simple Lightburn, or I use Inkscape quite a bit. Just depends what I'm doing.
Yeah, I don't use Inkscape that much anymore. I still have it, but if it's an image of some sort, like if I'm building a PNG to engrave, I'll use Kittle for that. If it's for cutting, like if I need precise cutting, like I'm putting a box together or something, probably Fusion is what I use. Although I'm slowly switching over to FreeCAD, just because, well, it's got free right in the name.
Yeah.
And Fusion is decidedly not free anymore. The price is going up constantly on it.
That is, Steve, that's my wife's feeling any better. She has surgery coming up next Monday, and we'll wait and see what the results are from that. Right now, everything's kind of touch and go.
Hey, we don't have to be here. I can go get a beer now.
Well, hey, I just opened another one here.
Well, community is what it's all about. So, if you have an answer to a question, shoot it out there. Jim is asking, will you be doing an informational video on how the comm marker software interacts with Lightburn? It doesn't, the new comm marker software doesn't really interact with Lightburn, but it's parallel to Lightburn. They do the same job. It's just that it's specific for comm marker lasers. And I've had now I'm working with betas, so I've had a love-hate relationship with it, but they've fixed a lot of problems that I mentioned. So, it's fine now. I actually built a good multi-layer project with it today. So cloudy but not raining in Australia. We haven't even gotten many clouds here lately. We're gonna have to start seeding the sky. TJ Michael. This seems to be another new name too. If you have a spare $5,000, which 60-watt MOPA would you buy? Commarker, Monport, Omtech, Huation, or other? I would say not Monport. I'm a bit biased towards Commarker, but Omtech seems to be good. Huation is definitely good. There's also Xtool out there, which would probably be the one that comes closest to $5,000. But any of them. So just so you know, they almost all use the same JPT module. So when you use one, you're using them all. They're all basically the same. Oh, you don't have a fiber laser, Roger.
No, I don't have one. But
how is it you don't have a fiber laser? And if you lived close to me, I'd give you one.
I've just when I was offered, I didn't have the time to take it. It was during our real busy season with our other business, so I just turned it down.
Yeah, I understand busy season. I don't do what you do, but it seems my summer is just about gone, and I've only been to the beach once, which was this past weekend. Radu is asking, is it proprietary software for doing the subsurface? Yeah, so almost all of these UV lasers that do subsurface require their software, because you just can't do this in Lightburn. Lightburn doesn't understand 3D objects, for example, but it'll do those. Now, what you can do, you could certainly put a flat photo into glass with Lightburn, but these other softwares tend to make it easier. Going from a photo to 3D, the software I'm using doesn't do that, but I'm sure somebody's going to do it if it isn't done already. So, if we don't have it in the first release, just wait for it, because it's going to be coming. The best place for crystal or glass blanks for subsurface is trophy and awards distributors. Send me a name, Tim, if you got it, especially if it's a local one. But I was looking at 50 by 50 by 100 millimeters, so that's basically 2 inches square and 4 inches long. And those are, like I said, they're probably $6 or $7 at the cheapest per each. Unfortunately, you can't do. I tried this just for fun. You can't really do subsurface engraving on something like acrylic, because it just gets a little too shattery inside the glass. So you're really stuck with with this crystal or glass. And I think the glass would have to be pretty pure, otherwise you might get a bit messed up if there's impurities in the glass. I did have one. This was my first lesson on learning internal engraving. I started a job and it was too high in the glass, so I stopped it and I wanted to move it down, and it was the Eiffel Tower one, and it had already put the start of 4 feet there. And after that, everywhere where it went to put a foot down, it just had a little blur down in the glass. So you absolutely have to start from the bottom and work your way up. Chris has a friend with a sports and trophy shop, so I just piggyback my orders off of his. Yeah, I wish I knew somebody in that business, because I seem to be getting more trophy stuff to do lately. Oh, this is Steven's thing again. That's when I started with 2 point something. Yeah, okay. So you probably don't know how good 1.8 was before 2 came out. In fairness to Lightburn, version 2 has some nice capabilities that weren't there before, but I think they pushed it a little too quickly. There's a few issues. They've been working on them, but there's a question for you, Roger.
Well, that call could have been a coaster order. Well, now that the call that I muted the mic on here was, we get telemarketers here just constantly about anything and everything that's just stupid. And sometimes I'll answer the phone and just screw with them just unmercifully, but not while we're on live.
Well, that might be entertaining.
Yeah, I've had some fun with them.
I found the best way to reduce, not eliminate, but reduce spam callers is just get rid of my home phone and just use my cell phone. So I don't actually have a home phone number. Well, I do, but I have no idea what it is. It just don't have a phone.
I was getting spam calls on my cell phone too, till I figured out how to put this certain block on.
Yeah, so usually my carrier, when I get a phone call and it's spam, it will tell me that it's likely spam.
Yeah.
So it's pretty good. And it doesn't, when my wife calls, it doesn't say it's spam. So, which I'm sure makes both of us happy. Brandon is saying he's having to force quit Lightburn 2 for the Mac. Yeah, see, I use a Mac too, at least once a day. Yeah, that's probably my rate too. I've had it crash. I've had it hang. It just, like, you're looking at a spinning lollipop while you're waiting for the thing to catch up. It's just, I don't know. I think they didn't test it enough.
Yeah, Steve says being brand new to this is definitely a learning curve. Yes, there is. Nobody's born knowing how to do this.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Shoot questions out. You can send me questions. Roger knows how to use lasers. So, none of this stuff is secret, right? Everybody wants to help everybody. So,
no, thank you, Steve.
Yeah. Chris says it's still unconfirmed, but version 2 problems seem to be related to something Microsoft did with Windows caching, from what I've heard unofficially. Sure, but this is also happening on Mac. So maybe you have more problems on Windows. I don't know, but just poured a little whiskey.
A little?
Hey, there's V.
Why bother with a little?
Oh, V's got to go to work. Man, that sucks. Sean says, I'm here. Oh, you've been awfully quiet. I have 5 lasers, Laguna 1. Wow. Oh, yeah, you mentioned, I think you did mention this. A Laguna 150 CO2. That's a pretty hefty laser. Cloud Race 60 watt MOPA, an F1, Glowforge, a diode, a 20 watt diode. I will ask a shameless question. How much do you use the Glowforge in all of this? Because you got enough lasers there that I wouldn't even bother turning a Glowforge on. Wow, if you're doing a lot of quilting and embroidery, how come you don't have a UV laser yet? I'll dangle that carrot out there.
Huh.
See you, V.
Yep. Thanks, Ray.
Hey, Nancy, you haven't been around in a while either. Welcome, welcome, and welcome back. Do I what? Yes, I do indeed live 2 hours down the road. Oh, I do have, Tim, if you're actually interested, I do have a Commarker B4. It's a 20 watt fiber laser. That's just literally collecting dust in my shop right now. If you need a fiber laser, but aren't you getting an F2?
Oh, Steve's asking if you could download an old version of Lightburn. You should be able to.
Yeah, I think you can download at least the previous version. So I think you
like
should be able to get
1.8.
1.8.11 or something, whatever the latest one was, before they went to 2. Tim says, Nancy, wish we were here up in Canada. Could continue buying from you. Yeah, JDS has some good stuff, and it's just so hard to get stuff across the border now. Well, we'll. I won't read out the editorial political comment there because we try to keep the politics down. But by and by, to be. Situation it is. Which lenses should I get? It's a 60 watt MOPA. Definitely the 70 and the 150 millimeter lenses are good. The 300, you're stretching that power out pretty fine in the corners. So you probably, if you stay in around the 200 millimeter range, you'd probably be okay. But I don't think you'd be happy if you try to do something that's 300 millimeters. But definitely the first two. I mean, it's an engraving laser, so most things you engrave are going to be smaller anyway. But without knowing your exact use case, it's hard to say. This side of radio asks, is there a specific material that's better for learning than others?
Cardboard.
Good old cardboard.
Yeah.
Cut up the box that the laser came in. Yeah, many an Amazon box has become smaller pieces in my shop. Even now, like, it's not like, oh, I've outgrown cardboard. It's, if I'm doing some kind of a design and I want to see how it's going to look, most of that cardboard is coincidentally 3 millimeters thick, just like plywood or acrylic. So you can cut it out in cardboard and go, yeah, everything fits together, and then you can go and cut it out in the real material.
I prototype quite a bit using cardboard.
Yep. It's a good way to get rid of it. Because the UPS guy stops at my place at least twice a week, and no matter what he brings, it's in a big cardboard box. So I have lots of cardboard. I actually got this cardboard. What came in it? Oh, this latest Commarker laser, and it's really thick. It's about 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch thick cardboard. And I'm trying to figure out a use for it before I cut it up and throw it out. It's got to be good for something. Like, I could make a cupboard out of this stuff. It's so thick. So Sean says she uses the Glowforge for small things. Yeah, I know Glowforge has been really quiet over the last 6 or 8 months. Wonder if they're feeling the pinch. Ah, see, she's been thinking about a UV laser. While you're on that, think about a UV printer too. Actually, I will be covering another DTF DTG printer. I don't know when though. Probably in September sometime. There's a new one coming out, and it looks like it's going to be interesting. Sick or sleeping? Well, hopefully you haven't been too sick. I envy the fact that you can sleep, because I find as I'm getting older, I don't know, you're older than I am, Roger. Do you get like an hour of sleep every night?
I sleep for 2 hours. I wake up for 20 minutes. I sleep for 2 hours. I wake up for 20 minutes. It's kind of like an ongoing thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I wake up. It doesn't matter where I am on the planet. I've always woken up at about 5 a.m. Eastern time. But I just find as I get older, I sleep like I'm down to like 4 hours a night now, and it's like I gotta have more sleep than this.
Well,
But
the thing I can't really figure out, I retired in 2019, and my everyday thing for years was waking up at 4:30, quarter to 5 every morning. I still do it, and I don't have to.
yeah, I'm the
So
same way.
I still do.
It bothers me because I'll wake up and I'll go, man, I wish I could go to sleep. But then I start thinking about things in my shop, right? And it's like, I might as well get up. But I've taken in the summertime is nice because I can go and have a little nap out in the deck in the afternoon.
I actually fell asleep in our hot tub yesterday. So,
Well, that's a bad place to fall asleep.
well, I don't keep the hot tub hot though in the summertime. I only
No,
keep
but
it
you
at
can
90.
drown.
Well, I figure if I slid down, I'd probably wake up.
Oh, hope so. So there you go. I found somebody who wants a call marker B4. Yeah, see, the problem, Jim, is there's no way I could get this thing across the border right now. So it really has to be someone in my own neighborhood that I have to get rid of this thing for. It's just been like I haven't really even turned the thing on in probably at least I turned it on about 6 months ago because somebody wanted to compare a 20 watt to a 60 watt and see what the difference was. See a cardboard. Wow, I was looking. Oh, okay. Yes. So apparently, cardboard is an innovation for this side of the radio. Yeah, it's a great material. It'll teach you a lot about settings because if your settings are crazy, it'll catch fire. So
Yeah, real quick.
yeah, so you learn to be very conservative with settings. Because when you first get a laser, the natural tendency is to say, oh, if 50% power will do it, then 100% power will do it twice as good, right? And with certain materials, cardboard being one of them, you basically will cause a bit of a mess. So you have to be careful. Damn Creative Studio. Love my Thursdays. Work from home, listen to live. Sunny winter day. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
down under.
It doesn't get winter in Australia. I mean, what's the temperature there now? Is it like, I don't know, 18, 15?
I'm assuming you're talking Celsius there. So.
Yes.
Yeah, using cardboard for years, and yeah, I still do it. It's great for prototyping. It's just absolutely great.
Yeah. So again, feel free to ask questions. Um, Chris says, I get way more Amazon cardboard than I can possibly use. Yeah,
Yeah, I do
I think
too.
I think we're all in that boat, because you buy something that's this big and they put it into this gigantic box, and then to keep it from rattling around, they pack it with that heavy cardboard paper that they use. I mean, kudos for using paper rather than plastic, but it's just insane. And I'm forever. I'll get this big box and I'll open it. I'll say to my wife, "Watch this," and I'll open this box up and I'll pull this little bag out of it, and I'll say, "This is what came in this gigantic box." It's just, I don't know. I think they do it for just economy of scale, right? It's like this box fits everything, but it can't be efficient. I guess it is when you have your own, airplanes and trucks and things, but really thick cardboard makes great temporary enclosures. Well, this stuff certainly would. Like I said, it's about probably 3/4 of an inch thick, but I'm tired of it in my shop. This side of the radio says, how about a material to avoid until you get some experience?
Tempered glass.
With what laser? If it's a diode laser, anything transparent.
And if it's a CO2 laser, it'd be tempered glass, because that is really tricky to do.
Yeah. The only glass I've ever had a problem with was I was playing with a wine bottle, and I was trying to engrave something on it, and it was empty. And I was playing with settings, and I was just hammering the heat to this thing, and all of a sudden I hear, and it's just like shattered green glass everywhere. That was the only time I had any real problem with glass. And
Yeah,
fortunately, the lid of my laser was closed, so there weren't shards of glass flying around the shop.
when that happens with tempered glass, you end up with a whole bunch of redneck diamonds everywhere.
Yeah, the little cubes everywhere.
Yep.
Chris says, learn which to avoid as well. Yeah, so he did just ask that question. Yeah, there are a few materials. So stay, unless you have a gas mask, stay away from leather. Don't cut anything that's made of PVC
Or vinyl. Vinyl has will release chlorine gas.
Yeah, the C in PVC, which is vinyl, is chlorine. So stay away from that, because it'll either kill you or your laser. So.
Yeah, it'll not only is bad for your lungs, it will corrode absolutely anything metal on your laser.
Yeah, and it's shocking, actually, given how much chlorine there must be in that, how quickly it can damage things. Because it's not like a bottle of chlorine, right? It's just one atom in a chain of 10 things, and when you hit it with a laser, it breaks off. Sean says she slept 4 hours for over 30 years. Man, that would depress me. And it's the same. I take a nap. Yeah, so I guess it's because I'm slowly becoming an old geezer. About 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it'll be like I'll go for a walk at lunchtime, and then it'll be like, that just did me in. I'm gonna have a nap, and I have a little half-hour snooze before I go back to work. But it just kills me. I just wish I could sleep longer. Use corrugated paper for jigs, then toss. Yep, I've done some of that as well. And that's, in fact, probably where most of my cardboard goes, is I need a jig for something. Because you don't care, honestly, if you torch the thing. So when there's a will, there's a way, says Nancy. Yep. Yeah. Where's Rick? Rick doesn't like us anymore.
He was with family tonight.
Yeah, he's got some visitors hanging out with the fam. Do you gentlemen have any comments on YouTube videos where the title of the video is totally unrelated to the content? Hopefully that's not one of mine.
No, and I call that clickbait, and I've been
Yeah,
a
there's
victim of that a few times.
yeah. So I don't want to bash anybody, and I certainly hope this wasn't me, but um, YouTube is this interesting place, right? Where it's kind of like the Wild West, and you have to stand out. So there's a very fine line between creating intrigue in a title and just creating crazy trick clickbait. And I inadvertently did this once, and I took a lot of heat from people leaving comments. So I actually changed the title of the video, but it wasn't intentional. It just kind of sounded that way, and it's I don't know. YouTube is hard, and there's what do they say? There's like 2 million hours of YouTube uploaded every day or some crazy thing. Um, so it's tough to stand out. And I don't know how, if any, like there's usually some YouTubers on, so leave a comment if you are. Um, I rolled over I think 46,000 subscribers, and I still think that's small, right? It's like, man, I wish I had 100,000 or whatever. But when you look at, like, if you have more than about 30,000 subscribers on YouTube, it puts you in like the top 4% of YouTubers. And that's kind of mind boggling because there's like 9 million YouTube channels or some crazy thing. Like, it's just insane.
Then there's
Um,
people like Mr. Beast, you know.
yeah. So there's that top 0.001%. So
Yeah.
that's the Veritasiums and the Mr. Beasts, and, pick your, Marquez Brownlee. Um, but they're a very small number of people, right? Compared to how many people actually have YouTube channels. So, and those guys, I mean, they could put out any kind of direct with a title on top of it, and they'd get 1 million views. Yeah, not so when you're in the double digits.
I think I'm at about 45, 46,000, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve says he'd still like to try a WeCreate. I just released another video on the WeCreate Vision Pro.
Yeah. I like, so of the, I'll say mid-market lasers in the diode space, the WeCreate definitely is one I would pick. The new one, especially the Vision Pro 45. The camera is deadly accurate. It's relatively easy to use. If you must use Lightburn with it, there's a reasonable Lightburn integration, but I would just use their software. But yeah, I like the WeCreate. "15 degrees, so 15 Celsius. That's I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, probably 60 degrees. I would definitely not call it winter either way. 0 is freezing, so we get winter the last 3 weeks in Western Australia. Just yeah. If you don't have to shovel snow, you don't get winter.
Okay, for me, am I doing more consumer or B2B sales? For me, it's mostly B2B because I do not like meeting with people if I don't have to. You know, a business customer is a whole different story than a individual that wants something customized and then they want to change it. Well, I don't like it that way, and for me, it's more B2B.
Yeah, I have a good healthy mix, I think. I mean, revenue wise, it's B2B, but I do make a lot of one-off stuff for actual end users as well.
Now, on our other side of, with the shop down there, with, for example, we make candy boards for beehives. That's a consumer item there. We sell hundreds and hundreds of them every year, but that's a consumer item. But I mean, it's for a specific purpose and it has a specific design, and I never get any negative feedback on them.
You just use a table saw to make those though, right?
Now, table saw and a router and there's a lot involved, but
Yeah. No,
I
no
mass
lasers
produce.
or CNCs or anything cool.
I do laser engrave our logo on the
Your logo.
back of
Yeah.
every one.
Alan says he just purchased a CNC. What are they? Brain fart. Yeah, these guys are actually doing a lot of innovative things. Now the price you pay for that is sometimes things are a little unstable, but they do tend to be fairly active driving alt mill. That's the one I was thinking of. They're driving new, like, real innovation in the CNC space, which makes them a pretty rare commodity. It depends if it's on the free trade list. Well, yeah, I mean, I'd say all the good CNCs are in Canada. Like Onefinity is also here, but either one of them would be good. Also, what's the one Clack has? Jeez, man, I gotta.
Surprised he isn't listening tonight. He'd chime in.
Yeah, usually, but the other one, number 3 in the market anyway, or they're probably still number 2, but CNC Lab is coming along. Nancy saves her boxes to paint on.
I do that too. It's good background for when you're spray painting.
Yeah, I have a feeling she's talking about art.
Oh.
I just use them for spray painting too. Mark says, "Good evening, Mark." That's my
It's night to make dinner.
Diode IR. Oh yes, it's like an F1 or something, right? Yeah, that's not a bad combination actually. Although, what was the one I tried recently? The R2. Who's that? Algo laser. Their IR module was not what I would call great. I had trouble with it.
Longer's IR module was decent, and
Yeah.
the one that we create is decent, except it's just a pain in the ass to change the modules.
Yeah, that's yeah. So I had a conversation with them a long time ago, and they sent me the very first IR laser module, and I was like, "Really, you're going to put a normal user through this pain?" But this R2 is worse because you have to pull the cable out of spiral wrap, you have to cut zip ties, and then you have to change the laser module and put all that stuff back in because the cable is actually attached to the laser head, not to the laser. And it's Ortour, sorry, not Algo laser, and it's just such a pain. Like like something that should be 2 minutes takes an hour, half an hour, and it's not cool. Like, if that's what you want to do, buy 2 of these things, because it's not like the longer, like, you can change it in 2 minutes, right? And there's a few like that, but yeah, I had. Did you have the cable in your WeCreate Vision Pro? Did you have to change it yet?
No.
See, I had to change mine because it was catching on like, they had a big baggy cable, like the braid, and it was catching on that metal bracket that the cable rides in, and it was fraying and catching and causing all kinds of errors because it was slowing the head down. So I sent them a message, and they said, "Oh, we'll just send you a new cable." And the new cable is a much tighter braid on it, so it doesn't do that.
Oh no, I haven't had a problem with that.
Yeah, maybe you got yours after mine. I don't know. I think you actually got yours before I did, though.
Yeah, I had. They actually called it the beta model because
Yeah,
they
mine's
told
a
me.
beta for sure.
Yeah, they said do not use the air pump that came with it. So use something else.
Yeah. Yeah, Nancy says she ordered an item that was 2x4 and it came in a 15 by 10 by 4
Oh
box.
yeah, we've
Yeah.
had that a lot here.
Yeah. So much for your theory about something being in a slightly bigger box than it needs to be, and then the price of postage goes up.
Yeah, they probably get a little bit different rate than we do.
Well, yeah, they own their own jets, right? So
Yeah.
okay. These Australian guys are still trying to convince me it gets to be winter in Australia. Winter is -40. That's winter. Although where I live now, it doesn't get anywhere close to that. It's like plus or minus 10 degrees of room temperature here.
Well, we get -30 here every once in a while. I'm talking Fahrenheit in the wintertime. And that's generally when I'm in Mexico. That's why
Yeah,
I'm in Mexico during that time.
the coldest I've seen it here was -20 Celsius for literally 4 hours, and then the wind changed direction and the ocean blew in some warm air. That was cold. Now, I mean, I used to live in the middle part of the country where you'd wake up and like I went to my parents' place over Christmas, and the warmest day, the high for the warmest day was in the -20s. It's like, yeah, I know why I don't live here anymore.
So cardboard is awesome. Just build all the props, including an 8-foot by 8-foot pirate ship, fish, palm trees,
Wow,
etc. Local vocational Bible school was fun. Yeah, make a lot of
cool.
cool stuff out of cardboard. Dollhouses, especially.
I'm wondering what Bible story you're telling with a pirate ship. Pirates didn't have a whole lot of religion in their lives, I don't think.
Hey,
Hey,
there's
Rich.
Rich. Yeah,
We should have invited you on tonight, Rich,
yeah.
because Rick isn't here. And I would, except I don't know how to do that from here. So I'm just the stand-in. It won't see your answer right away. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a delay in the. Well, first of all, we're delayed trying to keep up to the comment stream, but it delays getting there. It delays when we read it, and then it delays when we get it out on the screen. So try and if you have responses to things, try and put them in context so it's easier to get them. But yeah, it's a bit of a challenge. Chris says he does 4 hours. Oh, this is his sleep pattern. He does 4 hours of sleep, then about 2 to 3 has a pop stop nap. Pop stop, I like that.
Yeah.
Then I go back to sleep about 3 a.m. Yeah, there's no way I'm just waking up at 3 a.m. If I went to sleep at 3 a.m. I wouldn't sleep at all. But I'm all about the naps now. The advantage of not working for the man. It's it's like being your own boss. It's like, yeah, the boss says it's time for a nap. I try to put a little context in some of my comments. Yeah. Remember what they really do. Are you working on any projects, Roger?
Yeah, other than I think we talked a little bit about before we went on live, these little bottle openers here. I got 200 of those to do for a golf tournament. And then on sublimated tumblers, I've got 25 to do for a pool tournament. So yeah, I've got some projects.
Yeah, I've been working. Well, I just did a job it was actually for a family reunion. The customer wanted, I guess it was their patriarchal and matriarchal family leaders from a generation ago, and they wanted coins made. So one on each side. So I had to make a bunch of those. And while I was doing that, I learned a very interesting way to do graphics, images specifically on a fiber laser. So I'll probably do a video on that because it's like up to this point, any images I did with a fiber laser were just complete garbage. And most of the images I've seen other people do with fiber lasers were equally trashy. So, I mean, I got things that looked like photographs, which I thought was pretty cool. And he says that's because you're an expert and have 5. Yeah, he must be talking about Rich, not me. I don't have 5 live shows. I'm not sure I'm an expert either. Gary says, can you talk about the new Rolly yet? It looks interesting. Well, Rich is here. He could talk about the new Rolly. As I said, everybody who uses a Rolly seems to love them. But I can't talk about them. I don't actually have a relationship with Rolly Laser, but Rich certainly does. And I certainly know he likes them.
Well, I'd be more than happy to meet up with Steve. He says I don't like meeting people. I'm talking about, when you have the Karens, as I call them, the people that I call a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I don't know. I keep telling my wife I'm antisocial, but she doesn't believe me. I don't know. I would come down actually. I should, I thought about getting us all together for an actual in-person live, but right now apparently your government wants me to put up like a $20,000 bond across the border. So it's like, yeah, I'm not coming.
Well, my problem is if I came up there, I might not be able to come back.
Yeah, probably. No, you're an actual citizen, so you'd have no trouble. But there are people who have immigrated to the U.S. and there was one guy. He was actually a Canadian guy, but he'd been living in the U.S. for like 30 years. But he came back to Canada for visit family or something, and when he tried to cross the border, they dug up some drug charge from like when he was 18, and they wouldn't let him back in the country. It's like, holy cow. Politics just drives me crazy. There's always somebody who knows math.
Oh yeah.
I just type it in Google.
New Brunswick.
Blissfield, New Brunswick. Across the Bay of Fundy for me. Yeah, Jim is doing B2B. He's going to hand out. Jim's actually making catalogs, which I think is kind of cool. That's the cold open in a commercial conversation. Walk into the office and say, "Take my catalog and call me." Jim is much more aggressive about this stuff than I could ever be.
Yeah, bottle opener business card. I've seen those. I've kind of toying around with playing with some of them. I just never kind of pulled the trigger on it.
The other one I have is like these bottle openers for business cards are these square things, right? And they obviously the bottle opener on them, and you can engrave on them. But I got some letter openers that look the same. They're about the same shape, and they're fairly cheap. They're plastic, and they're great for UV lasers. I haven't tried them with any other laser, but I don't do my stuff, but I've done those for other people. People who, and I mean, I don't know how much people get actual letters in a mailbox anymore. My mailbox is empty most of the time, but people seem to like letter openers.
And that just says she uses we're talking about cardboard here yet, I'm sure. Usually keep the area clean and not paint my table. Now that's what I do too, especially when I'm airbrushing.
Yeah. Aerosol paint will just go everywhere.
We create Lumos. I guess I'm not familiar with that one.
That's their little portable, tiny square cube one.
Oh,
It's like the Pixie or the.
it must have
Uh,
been one of them things I turned down then. Them little bitty ones.
yeah, I turned it down too. I know Alex over at Laser Everything's about to review one of those, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to have an overly positive review of it. So, um, but yeah, I mean, these are things like, I mean, the F1 Mini, like things that have multiple lasers in the same box, they make sense, right? You don't even have to think about changing. Um, so, but I haven't heard. The only negative thing I've heard was Alex talking about this Lumos, but they asked me 2 or 3 times, and I was just like, I'm trying to do fewer reviews, and that one is not really that exciting to me. So Chris says,
I like.
with a cable attached to a module, is that reverse engineering? Yeah, I think that's probably a good way to put it. Backwards engineering specifically. Any advice for marking brass? I have an atom stack 40-watt diode and an IR. You should be able to mark it with the IR.
Yeah, if you're going to try to do it with a diode, you're going to need to code it.
Yeah. And if you wanted to engrave darker on brass, again, pull the focus back a little bit, and it'll be a little darker. Now, with a 2-watt IR laser, you're not going to get like pitch black, but
And you're not going to engrave. You're only going to etch, really.
yeah, it'll be surface. Hey, Skylar. Yeah, so Skylar had this cable problem too with the We Create Vision Pro. I think actually it was Skylar who mentioned it to me, and then the next time I turned mine on, it was like I hear this raspy sound, and I looked, and the cable, the braid on the cable was all frayed, and like, nah. But I think they resolved that problem, but where did I go here? What happened? Oh, somebody else. Oh, it's Michael again. Remember the winter in the Philippines was it was 75 Fahrenheit.
We were on a.
Locals were in winter jackets, military shorts.
We were down in the Caribbean here several years ago in Belize City, and they were having a record low where it was like 74 degrees, and there was the locals there like in sweatshirts and hoodies, and I'm running around in shorts and tank top and sandals. You know, this is like in January, but you know the people down there are like freezing, and they're looking at us, you know, like, what are you guys, crazy?
Yeah, I've found since I moved to the East Coast, I've gotten a bit soft. like now, if it's, if the temperature's in 75 Fahrenheit, I would be complaining that it's cold in the summertime. Now it doesn't get super hot here, so when the temperature gets into the 90s, that's bodies in the street kind of weather territory, right? So it's I don't know. I have very low tolerance now for massive temperature change, whereas it used to be common where I lived before. I'm at it again. Says running a dual laser CO2 90-watt 130 and a 60-watt MOPA, but finding it hard to sell stuff. What do you suggest?
I guess it depends what kind of stuff you're trying to sell.
Yeah, and where you're trying to sell it. Like if it's at a craft markets are tough. Like first of all, there's a lot of people that are doing the same thing, but with like a fiber laser, especially a MOPA, you can do color. You can do. So I've done lots of keychains with color on them. So company logos with color. With hardware like this, stay away from like the craft market, because you can do a whole lot more here. You know, like you can sell, like, if you go to a craft market and sell even a color keychain on stainless steel, someone will try and dicker you down to 50 cents for that. If you make the same keychain but it's got a color logo for a company on it and you sell it to a company, you'll sell it for $4 or $5.
Oh yeah, the B2B is the way to go.
Yeah, and they won't balk at the price, and they will generally always come back. So some of it is what you're making, where you're trying to sell it, and who you're trying to sell it to. So, I mean, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer there, but you just have to understand your market and try and own it, right? It's tough.
Well, Steve says he'll bring the hams, but I'm drinking Modelo here, mainly because it's a Mexican beer and I like it. But my problem here with hams is I can't get it right now. For some reason, they're out of it or can't get it, or distributors, or I don't know what the deal is. That was always my throwback beer.
Is it not? It's a U.S. beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's not
But
not a tariff or trade restricted thing.
It's kind of a retro beer. It goes back to the 70s, 60s and 70s.
Oh yeah. Well, you're always welcome to come up, Stephen. Take you down to the Bay of Fundy. You can see the highest tides in the world. I think Raleigh have customer Raleigh's definitely has high customer satisfaction for sure. I don't know why it looks like a solid laser. I haven't used one, but I watched lots of Rich's videos and he likes them, and everybody who comments seems to like them too. So Kevin says, I didn't have any issues when I was in Toronto last month. Yeah, you can come here without any problems. If you're a U.S. citizen, you can go back without any problems. It gets weird when you're not. The Galvomatic makes more sense to me. Yeah. And there's starting to be more of these kind of lasers too, right? The downside with anything Galvo is getting things lined up for cutting and getting square edges. I think they've solved it here with the Galvomatic, but you know, I've talked to a few people who buy Galvo lasers and then complain that all the cuts are at weird angles. It's like, yeah, look at the beam when it's cutting.
Yeah, my Galvos I only use for engraving, so.
Yeah, Chris says his letterbox is only for small parcel deliveries. So obviously not from Amazon then, unless they lean it up against the post. I think I have a jack from back when I lived on the East Coast. I had time to go out deep sea fishing.
Oh, that's one thing I've never done that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, I have no real desire to go in the ocean. We went on a whale watching trip a few years back, and now you're in the northern Atlantic, right? The North Atlantic is pretty rough, and there were all kinds of people getting seasick. Fortunately, I took some anti-nausea pills before I went out there, but never did see any whales. It was too foggy. Saw lots of puffins though. Probably tariff on imported hops and yeast. Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Skylar says, last year I did a craft show every week. My average sales were $300 to $600 per show. That's actually not too bad. Many days, no sales. But if you're averaging $300 to $600, that's not bad.
I haven't done a craft show in several years, and I just don't want to take the time to do it. My
See,
granddaughter still does it, and she's successful at it. I just don't want to do it.
my wife says when she retires, she'll take all the stuff I make and she'll go to craft markets. And I said, yeah, I bet. But I'll make it if she wants to go. But it's not my thing. Skylar's great endorsement. I'll never do a craft show again. Yeah, you definitely learn a lot about what sells, but you also learn a lot about the psychology of people, right? And that holds true whether it's face to face or online or anywhere.
No, I,
People do some unexpected things sometimes, and
I do frequently go to craft shows just to walk around and see what people are selling and what they're making, and but you do see a lot of the same thing.
yeah, I went. Yeah, I went to one. I don't know, a couple of years ago now, and it was that. It was like a whole row of people with laser engravers, and it's like you can buy your coaster from this guy or that lady or whoever, right? And it's like, wow, we gotta make different things. Hey, Rich became a member. I'm not sure whose channel, but I guess it must. You don't have membership on your channel, do you, Roger?
No,
Corby, man, it's been a long time since I've heard from you. How you doing, man? More importantly, Corby, did you ever get a laser? Ah, so we have a lull here. We've reached the end of the internet.
huh.
So what videos do you have coming up, Roger? Anything?
Well, I just did a new one on the We Create Vision Pro. Um, got a couple other ones in the works I'm thinking about. I haven't decided which laser I'm going to do them on yet. And then I've got one I'm going to be coming out with for making these little stupid squirrel feeders.
Your squirrel tables?
Yeah. And I can't believe how popular those things are.
I can't
And I
believe
don't really,
anybody wants to feed a squirrel.
well, me either. I call them tree rats, but
Yeah.
it's real popular around here. And I don't advertise them. I made one, a couple of them for a friend, and then, well, can you make me one? Can you make me one? Well, then I did like 20 of them, and I've got two left. They're sitting on my table down here. So I guess I need to make some more. I'm going to do a video on how to make them.
Hmm. Well, I mean, that's the best kind of customers to have, right? Like that means your current customers are selling for you, right?
Yeah, I sell for $10. It's not a big money maker, but it's not a loss either.
Yeah, but it's probably made of scrap material, and
Yeah, it's cut-offs from cedar fence pickets from other projects.
a cedar fence brick that's pretty cheap to start with.
Yeah.
Well, I did this. I have a few videos queued up. This Kittle video with Kittle flows actually seemed to be pretty popular. It kind of gives you a perspective on how scary AI is becoming, right? Like, I mean, I love it because I'm lazy. So, I don't want to sit and design something. But it just makes me wonder where graphics design is going to be in even a year from now. That's a good question, actually. Is anybody who's on here using AI to design things? Hey,
I'm using it more and more and more. In fact, I'm really almost relying on it now because I know nobody's going to try to hit me for copyright.
well, they might try, but
Yeah.
Rick is here, just says hi, and now he's gone. Yeah, I use it for some things, like any image stuff. Just
Oh,
spin
yeah.
it
That's
around.
why I'm using it for images.
Yeah, it's uh, but what flows lets you do is, man, you can get really descriptive in a prompt, and like I did this thing where, I mean, I started from this horrible drawing, which I still have on my desk here, by the way, this wonderful little dog. And, went out to build a logo, t-shirts, whatever. And you can just keep describing what you want the thing to do, and it'll spit out something better and better. And it uses all of the AI language models that are out there. So there's always one that will do what you want. But I don't know. It's a bit terrifying, actually. Maybe we'll all be out of work before too long. Oh, yeah. Corby's been in the hospital. Well,
yeah, hope you're feeling better. Yeah.
Still obsessing over it. Man, I wish you lived closer. I'd go to my storage and get one for you.
Okay, Chad's Christmas light says, I have a question. Longer Ray 5 upgraded 10 watt to 20 watt. Working great cutting wood, close to perfect. When it comes to engraving leather, it's ghosting the image. Have you checked on cleaning your lens? That would be my absolute first thought. Even though you may be using air assist and everything else, but that lens gets dirty, it'll ghost.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if you're cutting wood, you should be able to engrave leather.
Yeah, even though you'd have to put up with the smell.
Yes, especially on a Ray 5, it's open.
You
got no way to channel it out. Possible the heat is making the leather move. Yeah, so you want to fix it down to your workspace, but it's not. When it comes to engraving leather, it's ghostly. Yeah, so you'd see multiple lines and stuff if it was moving around. So if you see that, then scrap it down somehow. Kevin uses AI to create graphics. Yeah, I think it's just becoming the thing, right, for graphics. Like I used to do a lot of AI image libraries. Then, every once in a while, if I'm not doing anything where I'm going to sell it, Google Images was good. But now it's just, I can have some AI engine spit out an image in no time. And, you can change it. You can make it wireframe. You can make it grayscale. You can do whatever. And it's just so much easier. But again, I'm lazy, right? So Chad says, I should also say it's happening with tumblers as well. Focus not right, maybe.
Well, I'd still be looking at see if your lens is clean.
Yeah, clean the lens first, or at least pull the laser module out and have a look at the lens and see if it's clean. Which are new to. Yeah, so but the fact that it can cut, if it can cut and it doesn't engrave well, it most likely is the lens is dirty, because cutting high power will cut through any dirt on the lens. Rich says, if you're using AI for commercial sales, always ask the AI for copyright. Yes, this is good advice.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, this is certainly something you can get out of ChatGPT, but I think any of them will do this. Gemini, I use Gemini once in a while, but not too often. Yeah, people are starting to use it. It's just everybody's using it for the same thing. Now, I mean, it's easy to tell an image is generated as opposed to an actual photo or something, or drawn by somebody. AI images all have a certain flavor to them.
Yeah, I like this statement here. AI teaches you how many different ways it is to interpret what you're asking for.
Yeah. When I was in the working world, I had a similar saying to this for things like Microsoft PowerPoint. More ways to display the wrong information than ever before. Yeah, there's an art to creating good prompts, but it's a learnable skill, and once you do that, then you can create crazy things. The one thing though that Kittle Flows has is that refined prompt, so you can create something you think, and then you hit the refine prompt, and AI actually generates a better prompt for you. And then you can kind of get a feel for how prompts should be structured. Corby, I am on the East Coast, about 2 miles from the Atlantic Ocean. So I can't get much further east. Used the AI this year to help me create sequences for my Christmas light displays. Huh, neat. I would be interested in finding out how to do that with AI.
Well, I could kind of see where it helped create some sequences. I was just wondering if you're using a process controller to actually control the lights, or it's kind of interesting. That was kind of up my alley.
Yeah, I just assume you use like a Raspberry Pi for everything now, or an ESP.
You know, a big thing was using the Allen Bradley Control Logics or the Allen Bradley Slick process controllers for that.
Yeah, PLCs. That's a bit of overkill
Yeah.
for this sort of thing now. Corby's near Detroit. Yeah, well, I'm not going to hitchhike to Detroit, and I don't think you want to hitchhike to my end of the world. There's that darn border thing in the way, although apparently it's an imaginary line. So, yeah, actually, let one of us know, or just leave a comment in the video at the end if this was the actual problem, or if you do figure it out what the problem was, because this is the kind of thing people run into all the time. And there's at least 50 different things that can cause problems like this. That says, I will say using AI sometimes is like talking to a toddler. I think sometimes toddlers are more intelligent than AI, but can ask AI to improve your prompt. Yep. And I've also used things like ChatGPT to build prompts for other AI engines, which is an interesting thing. It's like one step away from all these AI engines just talking to each other and cutting me right out of the conversation.
So, okay, Jim's asking how I made contact to sell the bottle openers for a golf tournament. It was actually kind of by accident. I'm not a golfer. Believe me, you don't want me on a golf course with you unless I'm just driving the golf cart or hitting the beer stands. But one of the fellows knew that I made a lot of different things for a lot of different organizations and asked me if he had one of these. I keep one on my keychain too. Had one of these bottle openers on his keychain. He says, "Can you like engrave something on one of those for, we got a golf tournament coming up?" I go, "Yeah, I can do that. That's easy to do. Anodized aluminum, I can do that with diode laser pretty easy." And that's how the connection was made.
Yeah, that's like I said, the best way, right? So
Yeah,
somebody
it's word of
heard from
mouth.
somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
it's word of mouth thing.
that's where, like, because I mean, you don't advertise, I don't advertise, and yeah, I could do a whole lot more work than I do, but when I don't want to do a job, I just quote a high price. And
Yeah, I've tried that before too, and it's backfired. So,
yeah, sometimes they say okay,
yeah.
and you have to do a job you don't want to do. Talking to toddlers at points, but he uses a light-o-rama controller.
No, never heard of that.
I guess that's some embedded controller specifically for Christmas lights. Well, light control. Huh. Light-o-rama. I'm going to have to look at that. Not that I want to do Christmas lights, but I'm intrigued by technology.
Yeah, I was selling the liquor stores. And one of the neat things about these bottle openers, I'm going to hold this up here again, is aside from being able to actually open a bottle, like one of these here, it's got this little tab on the end here where if you got a flip top can, as women with fingernails, their fancy fingernails, don't want to get in and try to pop that pop top. So that's what these are great for. And yeah, they love them.
With the tab, yeah. I have no fingernails, so I need one of those just to open it anyway.
Hey, Steve, I got to pause here for a minute. I'm being paged.
Okay. Redu says, my friend David lost his ID. Now we just call him Dav. Okay. Anyway, while we're waiting for Roger, let me look at my list here. So reviews, yeah, I got a couple of reviews coming up. I'm working on the Commarker Titan right now, which if you're looking for a high power fiber laser, it's pretty cool. 100 watts. They actually can get a 200 watt version of it. I don't know why you'd want one though. I was cutting, I don't know, 2mm stainless steel today with it, which I thought was pretty cool. I still have a video outstanding for the Eufy Make flexible ink, and a lot of people have been asking me about F2 settings, F2 Ultra settings. So I want to do at least one video on that, because I don't know, Xtool hasn't been super forthcoming with settings, but at some point they'll have their material library sorted out. No emergency, Roger?
Oh, she's on an oxygen concentrator and the hose got kinked.
Ugh,
And
that could be distressing.
Yes, it was. So I've got that fixed here pretty quick.
Man. Stevie Z. Okay, need some advice. Ready to pull the trigger on a CO2. Have a 10-watt diode now. Space is an issue. So desktop. Narrowed down to probably the Omtech Polar, the Xtool P2S. We are not tech savvy. Okay, based on the we are not tech savvy, go with the Xtool P2S. There's nothing inherently wrong with the Polar, though. Lots of people have them and seem to like them. But XCS, Xtool uses XCS, which is, I'll say, a simpler, more restricted version of Lightburn.
And it's free.
And it, well, yeah, it comes with the laser. So my wife is easily frustrated too, mostly by me, but 200 fiber will give you no time to stop a job if it's wrong. Yeah. Well, you're not going to use the 200 watts very often. It's only primarily for cutting. But what it allows you to do, even with the 100 versus the 60 watt MOPA, I notice I can do things a lot faster, engraving especially. But it definitely does cuts very well.
Oh, and this actually, this is a very good idea. Give those bottle openers with a thank you engraved on it. Give it to them to Stewart or the stewardesses who do good jobs on flights. Yeah, that's a good idea because those people, they work their asses off.
That's a tough life, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wakey has their 50 watt CO2 on clearance. I don't. They're doing some transformation right now. I'm not sure what they're up to. Like they seem to have given up CO2 completely, and now they're moving into fiber, and not that maybe that's not a bad thing, but $1,500 is a good price for a 50 watt CO2 laser.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rich.
Well, if anybody's got any more questions out there or comments, fire them away.
So isn't Goiki basically the Omtech Polar? No, I don't think so. They look similar, but I mean, they all look similar. Like the P2S looks like a Glowforge, and so I mean, they're definitely not the same company. But But I mean, again, they're all fundamentally the same, right? They all use similar tubes and mostly the same kind of optics. The thing to note, though, if you, depending on how deep you've been digging into CO2 lasers, is you need to understand that the optics do need to be cleaned on occasion. Now, having said that, I have never had to clean the optics on my P2.
Well, I've had to do it several times on my Monport.
Yeah, well, my big laser, I do them quite often because the optics are all exposed, right? So, oh, well, there you go. I stand corrected. Rich says Blakey makes the polar. So then they would be basically the same laser.
Yeah. Now, one of my biggest enemies with my CO2 is dust. I get dust on the mirrors, even though it's up in the loft above my shop. Dust still manages to get up there and gets on the mirrors.
Not dust from using it, just dust from not using it, really.
Dust from just the atmosphere. Like I say, the shop's downstairs, and it is kind of isolated. I do have air filters and everything, but I still get fine dust up there.
There you go. They also make the Monport Onyx.
No.
Welcome to China. One gigantic company. Some content. Chris says he's glad he got back on the web. Get some content and just have a post-surgery follow-up at the butt crack of dawn. I don't know what time that is. I hope you guys have a great night. Good luck there, Corby.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
And whatever time the butt crack of dawn is. I've seen a lot of sunrises, but
yeah,
it's a bit depressing now because I wake up and it's dark here again at 5 o'clock in the morning. So,
well, will you guys be testing new 120 watt diode lasers coming out? I'm kind of on a wait and see right now to see what exactly is going to pan out with that. I haven't been offered any yet, but if I do, I may take them up on it as long as it's not some absurdly large thing.
Well, that's the problem with those, right? Actually, I think is it Sculpt Fun? Somebody has one. That's basically an open frame laser, but most of these 120 watt lasers are in gigantic frames, right? They're all 4x8. And I don't know what you'd want a 120 watt diode laser for. Still can't cut clear acrylic.
Well, maybe if you need to cut up some 2x12s or something.
Yeah, I got a table saw for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Wikie's been around for a long time. I think they predate everybody. Cloud website is for hobby lasers, but they also, I know they do some commercial stuff for sure. That's where I first ran into them was some of their commercial stuff. Skylar just turned down 120 watt laser. Yeah. So this must be the Acmer one. Yeah, I turned it down for the same reason. It's 4x8, which is a good chunk of the floor space in my shop.
I mean, that's literally a sheet of plywood. So,
Yeah. And I don't have anywhere in my shop where I can lay a piece of plywood on the floor either.
No, I have to do that outside on sawhorses.
I think I would like, Rich says here, if you need a 3D 5-axis laser cutting machine that's 20 feet long, they make it. I don't have a need for one, but I think I would like to see one.
Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting. I don't have space for that at all, but
no. Well, I mean, I could park my tractor somewhere else, I guess. Then I could get a sheet of plywood on the floor.
Yeah.
Or a 20-foot 5-axis 3D laser. What do we got? 10 minutes left. So let's get to the last few questions. I'd also be interested in knowing how many people still have open frame lasers. Because I keep telling manufacturers, like, you got to enclose these things.
I still own a few, and I do use them, but I don't have kids around, and I have no kids around, no pets around. I don't need to worry about anybody, having eye damage or anything.
Digging around in my storage there a while back, and I found an Ortur. What was their other brand?
Faro. Yeah.
Yeah, I found an Faro 5-watt.
Oh.
And it's like, no one is ever going to want that. That one I may strip down and send to recycling. The aluminum is worth something.
No, I do still use, like no longer B1s. I got a couple of them, but they get used a lot, especially close to Halloween when I'm doing Halloween signs and so on. Of course, my X tool now, I sold my D1s, but I still have the enclosed S1. And I've got on my Atom stack, I've got an Ortur LM3, and I've still got a couple of algos. I got a couple of now I can't think of the name of this. So MechPow, got two MechPow lasers. One's a class 1, the other one's a class 4. So still use them.
Yeah, I still have a 40-watt D1 Pro, but it's got the extensions on it, so it's literally just become a wall hanger. It sits up above my CNC, and it's there all the time. Someday, I don't know, maybe I'll give it to somebody if the right person wanders into my shop and complains about not owning a laser. Well, here you go.
Well, my D1 with the extension on it went to my nephew.
Yeah. So Mark says he's got open frame lasers. He uses them for with homemade enclosures. Yeah, so you solve the problem. And lots of people have enclosures. I know Clack has built his Franken enclosure there, whatever he calls it. I was going to build one, and then enclosed lasers started to become fashionable, so I never bothered. Actually, I think Paul, well, he's probably in bed now, but Paul Owen has he's got an original D1. That's what he makes all of his artwork on. Now, mind you, for doing paint engraving, the kind of artwork he does, I think it's a 5-watt laser he's got. It doesn't have to have a lot of power.
No, James here is saying he's got the D1 Pro 20-watt. X-Tool told him the module is bad and the replacement is $650. I think that may be because they discontinued the D1.
Yeah, and they don't want to find a 20-watt laser module for you to replace it.
Yeah, they want you to buy the S1.
Probably, yeah. This is a 20-watt open frame diode laser for larger jobs. So the one advantage of an open frame laser is if you've got a big piece of material that's bigger than your laser, you can just plunk your laser on top of it, right? And go. You can kind of do that with something like an S1, but the problem is when they enclose lasers, most of the time they put some kind of switch on the crumb tray, so you can't run the laser with the crumb tray out.
Unless you have a magnet.
Yeah, well, or find the switch.
And know where to put the magnet at.
Yeah, so Kevin has just reached the same mental anguish that everybody who sees something that has more than 3 axes has to struggle with. How do you get your head around the last 2 axes?
Well, the fourth one I can get my head around. It's the fifth one I'm having trouble with.
Rotation and then coming in from the end. So like a 5-axis CNC, right? You've got X, Y, and Z, and then rotation, and then you can turn the head sideways and come in from the side on either side. So you can create truly 3-dimensional things. But it is a bit of a mind-altering experience to get your head around. They're very complicated pieces of machinery. Skylar's only open frame is the Omni one. Yeah, I guess technically that's an open. It's not really an open frame because it doesn't have a frame, but it's open. It's only a matter of time before all these fiber lasers start to become enclosed too. I mean, the F2 Ultra is enclosed now. So I think that's the next trend, is to make fiber lasers safe and UV lasers. I just turned down the new enclosed one because I don't have time to review it. Yeah, I have the new enclosed one sitting on my workbench right now, and it's quite cool. Radu says, I prefer to make my own enclosures, mostly because I have 6-inch exhaust. Yeah. Actually, most of the enclosed lasers come with like a 2.5-inch exhaust, and then a really crappy muffin fan in the back. So they tend not to be very good.
Well, Jim says, thanks for informative evening. Well, glad you could join us.
Thanks, Jim. Shoot me some mail. Your next question, I'm sure, is the answer is always focused, though, especially with an IR laser. It says, by the way, 120 watt Glacier comes in a 4x4 configuration.
It's
Yeah,
still pretty big.
Yeah. Like I said, I think the use case for this is really limited. I mean, when you have something that can use this, it's crucial. But then most of the time you're cutting, 2x2-inch squares out somewhere, and I think it's just gonna occupy a bunch of space. I find this with my CNC too, right? It's and I don't have a 48x48. I have a 48x32, whatever it is. It's the shorter one, and even that one, I use like a quarter of the workspace most of the time. Oh, EnclosureZilla, that's Clack's beast.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't see Clack here tonight. I see Clack released a video on transitioning from the law.
Being
to
law enforcement officer
to
to
becoming a workshop maker.
yeah.
I thought he had like 100 more days to go. Wow.
I've done nobody says I have a old 3-watt one, still use sometime cutting board engraving in case but I case portable enclosure before us turning it on.
It's a good thing we it's a good thing we're almost done, because your microphone's getting a little quiet. Are you on
Is it?
Are you on a battery powered microphone?
Yeah, it's on my headset.
Yeah, there is a new 5-axis 3D printer. Again, it's like my head warps when, like, especially a 3D printer, because you can print a layer at a time. Although there's some new 3D printer technology that just, and maybe it's this one, I can't remember. It just kind of squirts plastic out in the right place without having to do layer by layer. So they're finally making some innovations in the 3D printer space. It's been pretty stagnant for a long time. Skylar says, for the 120 watt open frame, you need to operate it as an X-ray machine with a remote from another room. I need to put it in another building.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Clack has 55 days. Man. He planned way too far ahead. For me, when I quit work, it was like my boss wanted me to go to North Carolina, and I said, no, I'm not going. I'm going to quit. And he thought that was a little extreme, but I didn't count days down. The guy I worked with, he always had a number on his whiteboard behind him, and it just kept going down. It started at like 1,000, and I counted down and left, and he's still there. So yeah, 50 some days. It says also, About to announce and launch an entirely new laser for die-hard diode users. Years in the making. Cool. With features never seemed or dreamed of before. I don't know. I've dreamed of a lot of features a diode laser could have.
Yeah.
Yeah, shoot me an email. I'd be interested in hearing more about it. When you say you're about to launch or announce and launch, are you now in the laser creation business, Rich? Or is this on behalf of somebody? Now I'm intrigued. But we're out of time, so
Yeah.
let's cut it down. Anything you want to say at the end here, Roger?
No, other than hope you can all join us next week.
Hopefully you can join us next week.
Yeah.
Hopefully everything goes well with your wife, and
Yeah, she has to have a surgery Monday, so hopefully everything will come out good. So see y'all next week.
Fingers crossed, man.
Yeah.
Keep us posted. Take care. Thanks everyone for joining, and we'll see you next time.